Welcome to the Green Architects Lounge. I'm Phil Kaplan.
Hey, and I'm Chris Briley, and
we're back.
We're live, and as you can see, this is a video. So, I'm sorry if you're tuning in your car or something like that. This is a regular old audio podcast. Nothing exciting.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Just keep focusing on the road, please.
But if you're tuning in via, we don't know how this is going to get distributed.
If you're at home, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Make yourself a cocktail.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Okay, we're back. Cheers, Phil.
Cheers, Chris. So for those of you who have not followed our podcast in the past, you will know that we kick off every podcast with a cocktail of the episode.
And this cocktail is a traditional whiskey sour. I don't know.
Right.
We don't know when this is going to get released. We're kind of easing into this re-entry of our podcast, The Green Architects Lounge. I don't know if we said. And I don't know when this is going to get released, but today it's hot.
Hot as hell.
Ridiculous.
Like in high 90s, mid 90s.
And
when it reaches 90s in Portland, Maine, then it's like 200.
So we thought we'd come up with something that's nice and summery. And listen, the whiskey sour is a classic.
Look at that.
It's a classic drink that you can. It's one of those. It's simple. It's the trinity of cocktails. It is your booze, your citrus, your sour, which is your sour, and your sweet, which is your sugar, whatever. And you balance those. That's what makes you a good mixologist. So.
But what this one has in it, Chris. So
yeah,
say that again. Your booze.
Your booze. So for this cocktail,
2 ounces of bourbon. Of course, we're fancy folks.
We're substituting.
So we're
bourbon
using the Shinobu Japanese whiskey, which is a little peated, sort of a little Scotch-like.
Right. So
elevated,
you can use bourbon or whiskey, any kind of whiskey, or get your what was it called?
Shinobu.
Shinobu.
Japanese
get your Shinobu.
It works with the cheap stuff too, because when you add a simple syrup,
3/4 of an ounce,
3/4 of an ounce, 2 ounces of whiskey. Did we say that? 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup.
Yeah.
3/4 of an ounce of
lemon, and then you want to top it all up, or so. Well, and then with a little bit of bitters.
A little bit of bitters. This case, we're using a company called Crude, small batch bitters, orange and fig. But use whatever you want. Angostura works just beautifully as well.
Right, but I have to say the orange and fig, man, I can. Of course, you laid it on a little heavy on the top. So the trick with the whiskey sour, you often see egg whites as an ingredient. Do that, people. It's really great because the trick is to do a dry shake, right?
Yes, the dry shake is so critical because, so what a dry shake is, you put all the ingredients together, but not the ice. And then you shake it for about 20 seconds and it gets it nice and foamy. And all the proteins infiltrate all the ingredients and it just has a great mouthfeel.
Yeah. And then you add the ice to cool it all down, give it another shake, and then garnish with the, you can do decorations with your bitters on top.
I threw a few fancy little blueberries in there because I found them in Chris's fridge. So.
And it's Maine, so sure. Hey everybody, this is Chris and Phil, the Green Architects Lounge podcast.
We'd love for you guys to take just the next few minutes and listen to one of our sponsors. These are folks that we really care about, we dig, we like their product.
Yeah, we specify them, we use them ourselves, and we don't just let anyone sponsor the Green Architects Lounge. These guys have their shoulders up against the status quo, shoving it in the direction of sustainability and high performance.
And most importantly, they help pay for our drinks. Listen up.
Hello, fellow building science enthusiasts. My name's Nikki Kruger, and we're going to discuss the BS of dedicated moisture control. Now, there are a lot of factors that can contribute to high humidity in a home. Tight buildings, leaky buildings, construction drying, the materials that are put in the building, not enough AC runtime in order to control the moisture, the mechanical ventilation strategy, really energy efficient HVAC equipment, high dew points outside, and people are the wild card. You never know how much moisture they're going to generate or how they're going to control that HVAC system. So the goal of every high performance, energy efficient building standard program is to build a really tight envelope to reduce the amount of runtime on the HVAC system in order to save energy, which can be problematic when we're counting on runtime of that HVAC system in order to control the moisture in that building. Now, the need for dehumidification is significant for health, and comfort of the occupants, for protecting our personal belongings from high moisture, and also the structure of the home. And there's a lot of organizations out there that have recommended humidity levels for our health and comfort. The American Medical Association, American Lung, and the EPA, less than 50% relative humidity. ASHRAE is less than 60% relative humidity. And Building Science Corp in the spring, summer, and fall is less than 60%. Now, a whole house ventilating dehumidifier can integrate with the HVAC system in order to bring out outdoor air for ventilation. It can filter all the air going through the dehumidifier with a MERV 13 filter. And this dedicated dehumidifier is going to control the relative humidity in the home regardless of the air conditioning runtime. Now, we also need to think about what's going on below our homes. So if you have a crawl space or a basement, up to 50% of the air in your living space can come from those spaces. So controlling the moisture down there is also really important. Now at Santa Fe, we have an industry-leading 6-year peace of mind warranty that includes a 5-year full replacement plus 1-year parts. For more information about Santa Fe products, you can visit www.santafeproducts.com.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
We're back.
What are we talking about today?
Basements.
Basements? Chris, that sounds so boring. Why are we talking about basements?
Because I'm sick of talking about basements, and that's why we're going to talk about it to get it out in the open. Let's move on. Okay, how many times have you had this kind of conversation? Or let me describe.
I know what you're going to say.
What's that?
Basements are free, right?
Yes. It's like, oh, and I want a basement, but that doesn't cost extra, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean, so
if it's going to be a decent basement, it costs a lot extra. It costs almost as much as a conditioned space. So
if you want to be in there, yeah, it's going to be nice, and you're going to have to spend some money to make it happen.
But you know what? You can get free water infiltration.
Oh yeah, that's free. You can
water damage, all that stuff is free if you don't pay attention to your basement. So
here's the thing.
We're talking about it.
And once again, we're launching into a cold climate topic, I think.
Yeah.
But everyone else in Florida, bear with us. We'll get to a topic. Enjoy your cocktail and move on, whatever. But here in Maine, like the philosophy goes, you're digging down 4 feet to beat the frost. Just keep digging, and another 4 feet. You got all the equipment there. Boom! You got a free room. You got a free basement.
Right, yeah.
It's a foundation, which you have to have anyway. Ergo, free. But I could blindfold you, Phil, and just lead you by the hand down some stairs.
Don't do that, but I trust you.
I know you. Yeah. We'll go down the stairs, and you'd be like, I'm in a Maine basement, aren't I? Yeah, you would.
Oh, I know that smell.
Yeah.
I can like taste it now.
Yeah, and you'll actually feel the temperature change. You'll feel a change in humidity, and it's just those spaces, those traditional spaces that these old Maine homes have.
Right.
Root cellar, sure. Shove your mechanicals in there and pray they don't, flood and all that. Great. But, it's evolved to be this modern foundation basement that people are expecting for free, and it's not.
That's right. So, and we're not saying don't do basements,
right?
But we're saying think about it a little bit more carefully,
right?
Sometimes basements are good for things.
Yeah.
If the site makes sense, right?
Right.
So if you got daylight, or if you got slope, but otherwise, think about not having a basement. But if you do have a basement, do it right.
Right. So I'll have that conversation with clients, and I'll be like, why? Why do you want to have a basement? And they'll say, well, I want to put my stuff somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, what if, we find a space over the garage or something like that for your stuff, dry space that is, more closer to free than your basement or whatever. They'll be like, okay, well, but then I've got all those mechanicals and stuff. And I say, what if our house is so energy efficient, those mechanicals can fit into that little closet over there. And they're, it's just heat pumps, and we just have to deal with water service. Mm-hmm. And, it's now shrunk. You don't need a whole basement.
Right. Or what's your design going to look like? What's your roof going to look like? Is it going to be a flat roof, low slope? Maybe, but probably not most of the time. So what are you going to do with that space?
Yeah.
Good spot for mechanicals.
That's right. That's a whole other topic, unless you're putting it.
Don't go into the heat pump thing with me. Water up there. There's a whole, okay. Yeah. So maybe,
basements.
again, qualified.
Right.
Potential good place.
So, but if the client says to me, like, all right, no, I do have a reason for this basement, like the teenagers, I need a place for them to go away and do their loud whatever, just get out of my hair.
That's what I do with my teenagers.
Yeah.
It was very effective, by the way.
Go to the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, or maybe I have had a client, it's like, I need a wood shop and I'm not going to the garage. I want the basement.
It's kind of loud down there.
Yeah. And so there's other things and dust and blah, blah, blah. So
and there's another huge thing about basements.
Yeah.
Take a lot of freaking concrete.
Yes.
And we are talking more and more about embodied carbon these days. Quick primer on embodied carbon. I think we probably had a podcast on it.
We did have a podcast on embodied carbon.
But it's all the energy that it takes to produce, manufacture, transport a product. So concrete, turns out, it takes about 8% of all the energy use in the world.
Or all the carbon output in the world.
Thank you.
Is cement. 8% of it is one product. That's insane. And the reason is because, like, if you've ever seen cement being made, it's ingredients like limestone, silica, aluminum. It's not aluminum, but whatever whatever, and it all goes into this kiln that is this massive tube that is always on, at like whatever 1800 degrees, and it just tumbles the materials, and then it's a double whammy, because when you're done, what you're doing is you're using this fossil fuel energy to take a rock and separate it into its
I love it. You're getting a little red. Chris, I love it. I love it.
All you have to do is just add water to it, and then boom, it goes back together again. It's amazing. And we as architects just love this stuff, and we use it. We loved this stuff and use it everywhere. And it's a miracle product. But it takes so much energy to make. And
crazy.
When it's coming back together as solid again, it's a double whammy. It again emits carbon. So, and we'll get into my pet product later, which addresses that. So,
right. So, what the things that we're doing in our design now, and I know Chris is doing, is looking at the amount of concrete that we have in our houses. And, I think we're talking mostly houses here.
We are, for this podcast. We'll talk mostly.
But like, doesn't matter. Like, even still, trying to get rid of concrete, trying to do less and less of it.
Right. So, we're gonna. This is you're in the Bryburn conference room for this. Who knows where we're going to end up or what this background is going to eventually look like, but we just pinned up a couple things here.
Oh, are you ready for something here?
Yeah.
Oh,
and you didn't even know. You just sat down and we started recording.
I'll pretend I didn't know.
Okay. So, and I know you can't see
Professor Briley.
I know you can't see this very well, and that's okay, because we're actually doing an audio podcast anyway, but it's just there to help me. So when we did in the office, we were doing some, we made a hypothetical model that we ran beam calculations through, just so we can what if scenarios, everything, compare this to that, compare this to that. One of the things we did was sort of a good, better, best, kind of exercise with a house. And so I just, right before this podcast, pulled out the foundation part of it. So if you use just a regular typical house, a typical foundation, basement, full basement,
I'm gonna
and
take my
slab.
glasses.
Oh, that's all
so
right.
I can look smart like
That's
you.
right. Yes. Anyway, so if you have a full basement with a slab, it equaled 17,508 kg CO₂e. And everyone who's not familiar, so I always use 4,000 kilograms CO₂e. That is a year's worth of regular driving in America. So that's a lot of F-150s, Ford F-150s. It's not it's just average car. So a year is 4,000. So basically you're looking at 17,000.
Over 4 years of driving.
4 years of driving is your carbon output that your basement has,
right?
Your full basement. And before you start thinking, oh, that's not that much. No, driving is terrible. It's like really terrible. So for CO₂. Anyway, I'm just doing this for a comparison. What if, Phil, you go with a frost wall, all right?
Yep.
Which let's say it's a crawl space. And if you're doing a crawl space, and we'll get to this, you treat it like a mini basement. You bring it into the interior envelope.
That's right.
You don't do dumb thing where you ventilate underneath and you know let in the raccoons and whatever. You treat it like a mini basement, and you still have the slab, so this reduces down to 12,218, which is about 3 years of driving. So you cut it in half.
Right, you're knocking it down.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
And then you'd be like, let's do a frost protected slab. You know what I mean? And you'd think it's going to be way better, but actually, there's a lot more depth in the haunch that has to go around.
That's right.
There's a lot more steel that has to go
around. A lot of, it's a chunky thing, and it takes a lot of stuff.
Right. So that drops it down to 9,300.
Yep, not as much of a reduction as I would have thought.
Same.
And then you've got insulation that you had around the exterior to make it work.
That's exactly right. Well, that's actually in the calculation.
Of course it is.
I should have said.
Of course it is.
I should have said there's a balance there. You're trading concrete for insulation, but it still counts as foundation in this particular scenario.
Got it.
But let's not get into the weeds of that. But then you've got your piers as another option where you're elevated or you're just resting on little piers. And then you're only 948 kilograms of CO2 equivalent, which is only 3 months of driving. So
nice.
If you're working on trying to be a carbon neutral building, I mean, one of the places you're going to start is reducing concrete. And where are you going to reduce the most? Basement.
That's right. That's
where we can do a whole house without a basement. We can do all without concrete and do it with helical piers.
Now, granted, there's a lot of questions and detailing issues and a lot of stuff about your scenario D, which is but that's another good episode.
That is another good episode. We'll do how you do that.
Something on piers. Yeah. Are these on?
These mics? Yeah. They better be. Because otherwise we're wasting it. That's turned out. Otherwise we're wasting it. New equipment, everybody. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, mine has a green light on it.
Mine has a green light. I think we're okay.
Are we done being smart?
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay.
Pick these up.
Excellent.
All right.
We'll almost down. All right, this is fantastic. I'm glad you did this.
Well, yeah. And
actually, really clear to see
the cool thing is we'd already done it. We'd already done about carbon or whatever. I just had to go in and take a little bit of time and go, all right. I'm like, oh, well, then I'll have something in the background too, instead of just plain old cork.
Nice.
Whatever.
I love that you did that.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else do you want to talk about for basements? You want to talk about?
I mean, I think we still need to talk about the basics.
Sure.
Right. If you're gonna have a basement, you gotta have to control water, and it's kind of one of the most boring things that we do. Things we talk about, but it's just so critical. And if you talk to any smart builder, they'll just hone in on it. Like, you have to get your flashing details right.
Oh yeah.
You have to have overhangs where you need overhangs. I mean, as architects, we're bad at that, right? Sometimes we like clipping those eaves because it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then the onus is on us to figure it out. Like, we need to work extra hard to drive that water away from the building and away from the basement.
Yeah.
And then when we do have that basement, we need to make sure, because water is going to get to that edge, and we got to figure out how to capture that water.
Yeah. And I think, like, the thing to know about leaks and your basement, or this is what I was taught.
Yeah, how leaks get in.
It's like, duh, you have holes, but or cracks or whatever. But water infiltration needs 3 things.
Yep.
You need water to be present. That's easy here in Maine. It's here in 3 states of matter.
16 weekends in a row, by the way.
Yeah.
We've had water.
Oh yeah. 16 weekends in a row we've had rain, and it's getting old. But anyway, enough about us.
That.
You need water to be present. No problem here in Maine. You need a place for it to infiltrate, i.e. cracks, holes, whatever. And chances are very likely you've got some of that somewhere. And then the third thing you need is a driving force. And so if you can remove one of these things, you can stop leaks. So we know we've got water and there's nothing we're going to do about that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get rid of all the cracks and holes?
Mm-hmm.
We can try our damnedest. And we can do that with a membrane on the outside. Mm-hmm. Do you use fluid applied membranes? Do you spray them?
Yeah, we still do. It's pretty cheap.
I know.
We'll use dimple mats.
Yep, which is another, and that
Hilton suspenders.
That brings us to So once you've sealed everything as best you can, then if you use a dimple mat, what you're doing is holding back the earth, and you're trying to remove that driving force.
Right. So you've got gravel, that's subgrade. it makes it really close. Somehow this like really champion awesome drop of water has made it, and it thinks it's almost there.
Right.
It's right on your concrete wall, and then it hits the dimple mat.
Yeah, and it just falls. Gravity takes
Right.
over, falls down to where you have your
Perimeter drain.
Your perimeter drain.
Mhm.
It goes into that, and then because this is a good building site for a basement,
Mhm.
that drain bleeds to daylight. It just drains. Gravity. You've got slope, and so it's like I've had clients say, "Can you guarantee my basement won't leak?" And I say, "No." Well, if you give me a place to put that water,
Mhm.
i.e., daylight drains, yes, we can guarantee that will not leak. But usually I say no.
Right,
because-
knowing where the groundwater is, knowing how to protect it, all these things back. Like, have you ever used rubberized membranes in high-risk situations?
Yeah, we've used that.
Because sometimes,
you
again,
gotta do
like
that.
you've got to do a basement.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm always trying to talk them out of basements
Totally.
for carbon reasons, for all the reasons we
Mhm.
talked about. But you know, because like they're also, I'm going to go back on a tangent to why, you know, if they're going to occupy that space,
Yep.
that means you're going to insulate it,
Right.
and you're going to probably finish it. And if you're going to do those things, well, then you got to bring it into the indoor air environment and condition it. And basically, and put power and maybe even plumbing if they want something in there. And it's like all of a sudden you're doing everything you're doing above grade, only now in a swimming pool that you made out of concrete. So there's no way that that's
Right.
cheaper. And it's just more problematic.
Right. It sounds like a bad idea when you put it that way.
Yeah. Because it is.
Yeah.
So, but.
So
we
water,
do it.
water management.
So why am I?
It's huge. And retrofits, remodels are a whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
Very complicated, but really interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
So another podcast?
Another podcast?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about insulation.
Definitely.
So there's a couple different places, obviously. There's not three. There's only two.
Inside
and outside. There's the two places. Right.
Right.
And there's kind of different rules about what you want inside and what you want outside in terms of insulation.
Right.
If it's outside, you want it hydrophobic because you want the water to hit it and have it drop down. That's
Right.
kind of ideal.
Yeah.
And we have a couple different options. And
Right.
some things are more porous, like a Roxol rigid board or something like that.
Right. And it's also hydrophobic.
That's
so
right.
It is already repelling water, and then if water gets in it, it just kind
It does not like water. They're
It does
not
not-
friends.
They're not friends.
Yeah.
It has a fear of it.
That's right. It does. That's right. That's what it is. It's phobia of
Water. Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that's a good choice, and it doesn't rot or degrade, and it's not made of plastic.
That's right.
Yeah. But
EPS, XPS, also totally legit.
totally legit. Although we don't use XPS anymore.
Aha. Aha.
Yeah.
Again, I just found out that there's a new product out there.
Supreme.
Well, there's a few of them, right?
Okay.
There are a few XPSs that have a lower global warming potential.
Okay.
Another one that Owens Corning makes, and Suprema is by, I can't remember if that's the company.
it is
It has an
Suprema.
elephant or something.
Sure.
It's the logo. It's all I remember.
That's hey,
Right.
they got you. That's good.
Right. But suddenly
Right.
XPS is not as taboo if you spec the right thing.
Right. Maybe I should be more introspective and think about that before I just go saying, don't use XPS anymore.
Well, like we're old school dudes, we got to watch that, right? This
Yeah.
is one of the reasons that we do this, is that it helps us learn what new products are out there. And we don't do the same thing all the time.
That's why we got it, Phil.
That's
He says drinking. Yeah.
You can have one of these anytime.
I
We
know.
don't need to record you.
No, I know. And this is I'm glad we chose this one. This is a very good one to kick us off.
Very nice.
So insulation.
Yeah, so those are our options with the exterior.
Yeah, well, and one reason to do the exterior is like if you're already doing, let's say this is a new house and you're doing an outsolation approach,
Mhm.
you're doing this wrapping of insulation, you have a great option to, have that exterior insulation, just be continuous from your wall to your foundation. And you just have to deal with that little bit that sticks out of the ground, that's exposed.
Right, so you're talking about if your walls, your above grade walls,
Yeah.
are a little fatter,
Yeah.
and perhaps they're fatter but because you've added additional insulation
Yes.
to
that's
them,
right. Thank you.
rigid insulation.
Yeah.
So they're sticking out anyway. You're not really cantilevering out anything funky.
Right, you're
It's
not-
a straightforward detail that we're doing with a lot of our walls.
Right.
So they're simply going to continue that. We might switch the insulation that we use,
Right.
but they'll align.
Right. And you might then have to put a cement board that's dolmic, if I'm using that word right. It doesn't.
I don't know what that means, so I'm going to say you are.
Okay, it doesn't.
I can't deny that you are.
You need like
No.
a cement board that does. You don't want regular fiber cement. That's not what we're talking about.
That's not hydrophobic. That's something different.
No, it's not meant to be buried. You need a different kind of cement board. Or you can just, if you're really close to the ground, you can just use like a coil stock of.
We use coil stock a fair amount. That's right. You can use slate if you're really fancy.
Oh,
You've done that on one project recently, or stone, or
Corten steel. Just let it rest.
That's right.
Crazy.
That's right.
The options are all over the place if you have the money.
That's right.
But what if, Phil, what were you going to talk about other options for that, or just?
I think that's plenty.
All right, so inside.
We're down to Corten steel.
Yeah.
We've exhausted
It's
our
time
options.
to keep going. Yeah. So inside, when we do a lot of these, I think, just because, like, if you're doing a double stud wall or something like that, you're not building out from the foundation. So, you've got your concrete, it's exposed. Just leave it exposed, and we're just insulating on the inside. So, like, the concrete kind of is not part of your, insulation assembly. It's doing its job for air sealing and vapor. Well, we'll get into that too.
Right.
The water part.
Yeah.
And it's holding up your house, whatever. But so
Did you say whatever?
whatever holds up your house. Architects, whatever.
Yada yada holds up your house.
Blah blah holds up
Whatever.
your house.
Let's talk about insulation.
Let's talk about the thing I want to talk about. So right. So you can often build a stud wall on the inside. It's good to give it a little gap, which
Little space. Yeah.
what you kind of want to avoid is putting, or I'm a fan of just like trying to eliminate organics from a basement environment anyway, if you can. But if you're doing this insulation, this interior approach,
You're telling me you're not going to put wood fiber insulation in that.
I'm going to tell you, you're probably not putting wood fiber, and you're probably not putting cellulose.
That's right.
If you do, you're running your vapor barrier all the way up that wall and around the top of the wall, so that everything is completely insulated. You've got to make sure that sucker's taped and perfect. Totally acceptable.
You can do that, and your embodied carbon's lower if you can pull it off.
That's exactly right.
So you have to decide on your priorities.
Right.
You've got to detail it well.
Right. Even lower if you can get rid of that basement. So.
That's right.
So, but there are systems that you can use. Like, in fact, I just saw one that has mineral wool with Intello on it, and you can shape it and it has a little fastening system.
You shoot it into the concrete.
Yeah, you can tap con right into the concrete, and then
sweet.
And then tape seal it, and Bob's your uncle. You're done. You can walk away and say, "There, unfinished basement." What you can't do, and I know you know this, is you can't like just put up EPS or XPS and walk away and say,
Not if you're going to finish the space.
right, and say, I'm done, because little Johnny can go over there with a lighter and start a fire.
That's right.
Flame spread on it. So
Then you got to cover it up with sheetrock, or use something called Thermax or an
something
equivalent
like
that basically stops the flame spread. That's rated for that. Otherwise, you can't have an occupiable finished basement.
you got it. Right.
So we didn't talk about R values. We'd love to talk about R values, Chris.
Yeah.
So I usually think about an R20.
Yeah. That's the classic, 10, 20, 40, 60. Good job.
I feel like we're cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. 10, 20, 40, 60. All right.
Yeah, high five. All right. Goobers. Sorry, everyone. I know. Now you can watch us on video and go like, they really are awkward nerds.
All right. I'm down to my blueberries.
All right. All right. That means we're gonna.
I'm just saying.
All right. Oh, I know. You say that all the time. Down to my blueberries. So the code, 2021, I wrote it down over here. The IECC 2021, you need either R15 continuous on the inside, and so if you're uninterrupted with studs, you can create a continuous interior. You can do R15.
Right. So those are the rigid boards.
Right. Otherwise, you have to do an R19.
Right. You can use EPS or polyiso. You can use in the inside.
Right. Or you can do a 13 plus 5, and in the basement, I guess that is, you can have a 13-inch stud or a R13 2x4, and then an R5 Continuous?
And the R5 is simple because XPS is about a 5 per
5 per inch.
Right.
So, yeah.
And it's kind of standard what a lot of builders use, and they pick it up at Home Depot, even though it has a lot of embodied carbon for now.
That's right. And so
Or
that's
high blowing agents.
right. And I should say that was climate zone 6, but I think climate zone 5 is the same.
Look it up.
Basically New England. Yeah, know your codes. It's really important. And then you have your slab, of course.
Oh, we're going right into the slab?
Well, if you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. I got nothing else to do.
All right.
Let's talk about slabs. You want to talk about regular slabs, and then we'll talk about
as everyone.
alternates.
No,
which are fun.
yeah, I do. I do want to talk.
Yeah,
I want to talk about alternates more.
I know your face is going to get all red once we talk about slabs.
Yeah,
I just know.
So your typical slab, you're putting you've got a crushed stone base, or something that's granular. And here in Maine, radon, we didn't even mention radon. So like here in Maine, radon's a big deal.
Right. I think we need to mention radon.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about basements here.
So basements is usually the infiltration point of your radon. And don't be thinking like, oh, I've got this thing really well sealed. I'll keep the radon out.
Yeah.
That is a tiny gas molecule that
finds its way in. And there's no way to test for radon ahead of time. You got to build this space.
That's right.
So you got to prepare for it. You may not have to put the fan in, but you have to put a perimeter, perforated drain underneath the slab.
In a crushed stone bed, and then have a stack riser that takes you all the way through the building envelope.
That's right. So when the radon finds its way and the little bubbles out, it basically gets sucked up through the little holes in the gravel and finds its way up.
Right.
Because
finds its
differential pressure. The pressure will suck it up out of the gravel and make it go away.
Finds its path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So, and here in Maine, you have to put in at least a passive system, and then if you do come back positive for radon, you can put an inline vent.
That's right.
Increase that depressurization of that line, and then usually that takes care of it. And if it doesn't, you have to add more lines or do more sealing in it.
I've never heard it not be taken care of with a fan.
When we talk about ICFs, I'll tell you.
Oh, you have a story.
I'd have a story about radon and ICFs. So, wait, but we're not there yet. We're talking about slabs.
Let's stick on slabs for a second.
You pour your concrete right on your vapor.
Right. You were talking about the assembly.
Right. So you got your crushed stone. You've got whatever your insulation is. Probably, if you're going R10, you've got 2 inches of, XPS with low embodied carbon XPS, or type 9 EPS, which is what we usually use.
The structural kind. Yep.
And then a vapor barrier, which is critical because your ground is wet and you're always going to just have water in the form of vapor trying to come through there. It will seek, equilibrium, so more moisture always seeks less moisture, and so it's going to come flying into your house. So,
and then you got insulation, and then you get the vapor barrier on top. You can technically switch it around in terms of vapor, but we recommend the vapor barrier on top of the insulation.
Yeah, we recommend the vapor barrier right up against the concrete.
And then you pour the concrete on top.
Yes,
of it. But that's the sandwich.
Right. You got it.
And the only reason why we prefer that is if it rains or something, this thing is exposed. If you get water in there, what do you have? You have these slabs of EPS floating around under your, above your plastic, and it's a pain in the butt. You can't guarantee it's going to be tight and dry. So,
and you might get
the other way around.
Puddles and ponding underneath your slab, which you don't want. Yeah. So if it's right up against it, it's going to be the best thing you can do.
Right. And your poly, we use 15 mil Stego, probably.
Yeah, we use that yellow stuff.
The yellow stuff, but I'm sure there are other products that are similar than that.
Yeah.
But that's your vapor barrier. The slab technically is your air barrier.
Yeah.
Concrete is an air barrier.
Yeah, concrete, and that goes for your walls too. Like that's really your air barrier. It's not your vapor barrier because of the capillary action of concrete. A column of concrete fill can sit in a pan of water and soak up water up 30 feet in that concrete.
That's really cool.
It can still be detected 30 feet up.
Yeah.
So,
which is why we do things on top of the sill.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where moisture goes. Wants to suck right up into the wood.
Oh, I can tell my real quickly. I'll tell my termite. I've said this before on the podcast, and I think we say it in a pretty good house. But the the termite shield used to be like selling lightning rods, door to door in the old timey times. Or this is the vision in my head. Or knock on the door. It's like, hey, you don't want your barn to get hit by lightning, do you? Well, put one of these lightning rods up there. It takes the lightning right down to the ground. Saves your barn.
Sure it does.
Sure it does. Well, it does.
How much for the lightning rod, mister?
It's only $5.95.
I'll take it.
All right. You're going to love these termite shields. Keeps the termites away from your house.
Tell me more.
It's a bent piece of metal, see? You put it right on your foundation, you bend it like that, and the termites can't get around the metal. And your house is saved from the termites.
How much?
Another $5.99.
I'll take it.
Bottle of whiskey. So entomologists would lose their minds because they're like, no, dummies. Termites and ants and all that, they negotiate that kind of terrain all the time.
Right.
Leaf edges and stuff. That metal does not keep them out. So they debunk the whole thing. People stop selling termite shields. They stop using termite shields. What happens, Phil?
Termites get in.
Termites get there. The places without the termite shields are infested with termites. The places with them, and the termite salesmen are like, see? And the entomologists are like, huh? And then the building scientists are like, well, termites like, soft, wet, decaying wood.
Mm-hmm.
The wood that's sitting directly on the concrete is rotting faster. It's decaying.
Termites
it's wetter. It's
like
softer.
the mush.
The termites are like, that's delicious.
That's what it was doing. It was keeping the wood dry.
Exactly right. So sometimes your capillary break, you've seen it. I've still seen it in like other drawings or like in the graphic standards, termite shield or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we're up north. We're naive about termites.
Yeah, we don't.
So
They haven't got us yet. We have ticks.
They haven't. Yeah, we do. I got a story.
They must be related to the termite.
In that they're assholes. I'm just asshole bugs that have no purpose.
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
Except ticks want to kill us. Termites just want to destroy.
Destroy your house.
Yeah.
All right. We're moving on. So capillary action. You need a capillary break at any transition between concrete to wood.
Yep.
And we're doing a brush on. You're doing the brush on capillary break at the footing. Phil?
We specify it.
Yeah, you do. We specify it.
Does it go on?
Yeah, you got to.
Sorry, that's already covered.
Yeah,
that was yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly right. So you want to have a conversation with your contractor about that. It's not some mysterious thing. You can go buy. I bet I could buy it at the big box store. I bet I could buy a Sure Seal or something like that you can brush on the footing before you pour your concrete. Because if you can have that seal meet your waterproofing, guess what? You just save that whole wall from sitting in a column of water, sitting in that pond of water. So you can reduce the amount of water that you're drawing up. So capillary action, that's a real thing. We were on insulation and
we were talking about slabs.
And we were going to talk about Glavel next, weren't we?
That's right. I'd love to talk about it because one of the things you were talking about, Chris, is what goes underneath that slab. You talked about crushed stone, and then we talked about poly on top of it. But since, I don't know, maybe like the last 5 years or so, this product called Glavel has come out. And there's a couple competitors to it, yeah.
Right, as in foam glass in little nuggets.
I think foam glass was its own product, and that was the first time I had seen it. That came in this little gray block.
Yeah.
It was basically, they take, as I understand it, take glass and inject air into it, and it kind of puffs up, which seems kind of impossible to me. But.
Right, well, it's basically, they're making lava rock, Phil. They're just recycled glass and just like entraining it with air, and then just kind of crumbles apart anyway because it's, they can break it into whatever.
But what's a great insulating thing? Air.
Yeah. And foam glass, like fiberglass. I mean,
there's room in those little holes for air.
Right. So like here's an aggregate, like a rock that is R2 per inch, unsaturated, whatever. So
right. Which sounds kind of lousy until you realize, well, there's nothing else that does the thing that it does.
Right.
You mean I can use my gravel and have it be insulating?
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
We've never had a product like this before.
It's a twofer. Yeah. That and the factory that makes it in New Hampshire is solar powered. So you are putting a recycled material.
That's right.
You're putting
I saw that guy talk at the Passive House conference. It was really cool.
Rob Conboy.
Yeah.
Give him a call, everybody.
Yeah.
Give Rob a call. Tell him we sent you, and you should check out his product.
It's really cool.
And you're gonna want to learn how to use it because it doesn't compact like regular gravel. It does compact, but you want to have
Yeah, it's tricky, as I understand. It comes in big old bags, like the size of.
Yeah, it depends.
This is
That's the hard part.
like 4 Chris Brileys hugging. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
But
that.
it's kind of light because it's insulation after all. But not as light as insulation. It's still that maybe 1-ton bag of in a hopper that you're.
But there's builder Steve Demetric, who's in Rhode Island, and he does a lot of this work. Steve's a fantastic guy and an excellent builder, and is like a real pioneer on affordable, high-performance building. And he realized that he could save a lot of money and a lot of carbon if he really made slabs without concrete.
Nice.
And we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, you're talking about the slabless slab.
Right, I'm getting there in a second. But one of the things that he's talked about is putting Glavel underneath. Yeah. And the reason I'm backing into this a little bit is because in order to get these details right, it's all about the compaction. And getting compaction, including of Glavel, right, it means you need a good excavator, and you need to be present. You need a builder who's smart about this, because it doesn't act in the same way as gravel.
Right. Well said. And you can use it against the foundation wall as well, not necessarily sub-slab. So anywhere you're burying insulation, you can use this stuff. Cool.
Want to talk about slabless slabs?
Real quick, just because we're getting on in this episode, and there's lots of places to go find more detailed information with drawings about slabless slab. Mike Maines, for example, has a great article on it.
From Fine Home Building, probably 10 years ago, that's my guess. Maybe not quite. No, 2019, I bet you. We wrote it down somewhere.
Pre-pandemic, it all blurs.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's like...
Right.
But imagine trying to do a slab without concrete, and hence the term slabless slab. And if you think about the insulation...
Which is a ridiculous term, by the way, because there's no such thing as a thing without itself.
A thingless thing.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
A personless person.
Right. But we cool people know what we're talking about.
We do. Yeah. But it's a concrete-less slab. But imagine just having your insulation and then, let's say, 2 layers of plywood, and then your finished floor. And that insulation actually has a compaction that is, able to support your floor load very easily. And some people have said that, it's actually a lot more comfortable than a hard concrete floor. I know Steve Basic, who if you know of us, you probably know of him or whatever. And he was one of the first people I knew to use this system, even before Mike wrote about it. And I remember him saying in a seminar session, like and he's a big guy. He's like, I have the ability to really test these floors. Good for a chuckle, but also, he was very serious about wanting to know if this thing is going to be at all mobile, down there. So it's a well-tested system now. I will say that you're going to be thinking, I'm going to save money on concrete. I don't think you are, because the labor that it takes to do the different layers and to manage your job site, in an environment where, you don't have a slab to work on. Instead, you've got a vapor barrier and plywood that you're trying to protect, or you don't have these things and you're just on your crushed stone that you're going to add all this stuff later. It's really hard to add later, because you want that vapor barrier continuous and over the top of the wall, or up and over the top of the wall. And if you're doing that, are you creating a job site environment where it can rain and you've got a puddle with your plywood floating in it and all this jazz? So you have to think about it.
Right.
Go through the motions, and there's articles about it to tell you how.
Right. So it's a really fun thing that we're trying now, but clients don't give us money to have fun.
That's right.
Clients give us a lot of freaking money to not screw up their house.
Yeah.
So embodied carbon is great, but if somebody said you could save a bunch of embodied carbon, or you could have a dry basement forever, it's a question that you might want to ask yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't do all the other things we talked about, all the drainage stuff, all the keeping water things out, all the insulation just right, the vapor barriers, every single one of those freaking things. If you don't get those perfect, you shouldn't mess with the slabless slab. Don't go into that territory.
Yeah.
So I had I remember seeing the BS and Beers, shout out to our BS and Beers.
Oh yeah, we're partnering with them, guys. Without them, we wouldn't be back on the air with
cheers to you guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Emily, Travis, Ben, Mike, you guys rock.
Absolutely.
But I stood sitting in one of their sessions where they had a session on slabless slabs.
Yeah.
I learned a ton about it, and we started experimenting with it in a couple different projects. And we're still doing it. But I had a great conversation with Ben Bogey, who kind of said, yeah, it's a good idea, but like wade carefully.
Yeah.
Just like, are we still going to be doing this in 10 years? Is everybody going to be doing this in 10 years? It probably is going to go one way or the other.
Maybe.
I'm just saying that it's still considered a fairly high risk thing. We haven't been doing it that long.
Yeah. That's a good disclaimer on the whole slabless.
That's right. I love the idea.
Do your own research. I think it is a viable thing that
we're
about to do one, and I think we're with a builder who's done it twice, who's like, yeah, it's not hard. Got it.
Yeah, and in fact, I think it might be another episode if we feel like it. We get into real details.
Maybe we'll get some video footage and stuff.
That's very cool.
Maybe we'll expand this thing to be better.
Yeah.
No,
do you want to talk about some different options for concrete walls?
Yeah. So if we don't touch on these, somebody's going to just email us and say, you didn't talk about ICFs. They're the greatest thing ever. ICFs, there's things like...
I first learned about ICFs in one of your projects.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Long ago?
Yeah, the first one that you did. What was it called?
I don't know. It was
with you and Josh.
Oh, the Harmony House.
Harmony House. Thank you.
God, you just scratched the.
That was that was like a.
That was fun. That was a good time.
First, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was ICFs.
Yeah.
And
before ICFs were cool.
Yeah.
And back when they were cool.
Right, back when they were cool. So they're basically Lego blocks of polystyrene that you pour your concrete in. So it's like they're like blocks that have big chambers. You shove your rebar in it and you fill that up with concrete.
Right, and they're like this long by so tall.
Yeah. And it's really great.
And anyone can assemble these things. Like a carpenter can put them together.
Yeah, but it's good to know. It's good to have an understanding what concrete can do when you're doing it, because you can have blowouts. If you've got a weak spot because you're cutting them, whatever. Yeah.
Blowouts.
You have blowouts often, do you?
Yeah, my kids. Yeah, but
yeah. So
concrete blowouts.
Well, having concrete blowout while the concrete truck is pouring, another lift.
Oopsie.
Oops. That's really tough to deal with.
Yeah.
Also, they've got you've got those walls braced, and you can move the braces. I've seen the ICF's wall. You can just kind of go. That wall weighs thousands of pounds, and you're just like moving it like this.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, it's liquid, it's fluid, but it's really.
But the guys who do it,
they know what they're doing.
And gals who do it are really good.
I mean, they don't concrete guys, they're just no big deal.
So I will say that we used to specify it all the time, and it never got in any projects. I mean, when I say never, I mean never. I mean like one project.
Really?
Out of 20.
I've done so many.
Because everyone said, well, I could put exterior insulation on that wall for a lot less money. So why are you making me do that? I was like, well, that's good too.
Yeah,
go do that.
Go do that.
Yeah, because
I found economically, if you were going to finish it on the inside and insulate it, it worked, because you can just apply your sheetrock, boom, right to it. But if you're going to do a thing where you're going to finish, you're going to pour your wall, you're going to insulate it, then you're going to do studs, or you're going to do strapping, you're going to do that, and then your sheetrock, and then by then you're about the same, economy level as your ICFs. That's what I found. And then when you go above grade, forget about it. It's more expensive. So
yes, it is.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's interesting about ICFs is we're starting to use it more.
Oh yeah.
Because it's harder to find concrete contractors, guys who'll pour foundations.
Yeah.
So a carpenter assembles it themselves, skilled carpenter, and then they have the concrete poured.
Yeah.
And they're done. And they don't have to wait for a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And faster.
Yeah.
And it's often cheaper.
And great for little renovations. You're just adding a little room. You need a little foundation.
DIY, man.
You and I could DIY a foundation of that stuff.
That's right.
And, if it's only like a yard of concrete.
That's right.
Total.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, it's great for that.
Yep. There's a couple other products.
Yeah. There's
superior walls, which is precast, which is interesting, and
Yeah.
we really have only used it once.
I've inherited a project that had it.
So it's precast walls that
Yeah.
get set, concrete walls that get set into place.
Right, they're precast, and I think they're pre-insulated. Is that right? No,
I don't think so.
no, but it uses less concrete than your full wall because it's a precast, higher, PSI concrete, and pre-tensioned even with rebars. I think. So
Okay.
it's got thinner, stronger.
And you've used it?
No, I inherited a project that
okay.
already had the foundation
Yeah.
in, and then the builders and ghosted whatever, and
Right.
then that got sold, and then somebody bought it and said, "Hey, can I use this stuff?" And we had to go inspect it and figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I think it's got a lot of promise.
It's got a lot of promise. I think
Speed is key.
yeah, and availability and cost. So
Yeah.
of course, just like everything else.
Yeah.
All right. Before we
Can I
wrap
ask you,
up-
do you have a pet product
I
that
do.
you'd like to talk about?
I do.
I'd love to hear about it.
All right. Well, let's cue the pet product meow. I'm sure it was there in post. Someone put it in there. So yeah, everyone, if you're familiar with the old podcast, we would have things like 6-digit ideas, pet products, other great things.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's a product called Sublime Cement. I knew it by Sublime Lime when I went to go look it up before we talked about this.
Which sounds like a cocktail.
I know. Sublime. Oh shit. We should
that's-
have made
we know-
Sublime Limes. We
next
could have
time.
done. Oh, missed opportunity. Now I feel really bad. Anyway,
Pretty good.
yeah, well,
It's okay.
Yeah. Let's turn this off. We're done. No, Sublime Cement is. I don't think you can buy it right now, but I think there was a lot of hubbub about a Sublime Cement manufacturing going in Boston somewhere, or in the Boston area. But it would be a big deal if it happened, just because, I described cement, how it's made and all that. Instead of a big kiln, it uses an electrification method.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses chemistry and electricity to do the same thing that the kiln is doing.
Interesting. So does it try to get this, does it use heat, or is it different than
No.
Because otherwise it takes a shitload of electricity to get something up to
It takes a shitload of electricity, but not nearly as much as it does to heat up this kiln.
Cool.
And furthermore, they can use they don't have to use limestone. They can use basically a type of rock that is ubiquitous everywhere. So like, instead of being localized and having a very limited feedstock for it, like they could, and on their website, it's like you can do this on the moon or Mars. You can just use the ground that's there and use this system of chemistry and electricity. And no, I don't understand it all that well. You can tell, but you can look it up, and it is a product that's very exciting and has a lot of backing to it. And I think it's going to gain momentum. And if we were a different kind of country, we'd probably throw some investment dollars in it and get behind it, become leaders in this type of technology instead of letting China do it first, and then we'll put tariffs on it to protect our regular cement. Oh, did I step on a soapbox there? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're trying not to be political, but I can't. Someone in this group can't help themselves.
Yeah, it affects our business.
It does. Well, the tariffs sure have.
Yeah. So
but that's another podcast, and no one's going to be tuning in.
no, but it's
They'll
not
be
our
like-
podcast.
No, they'll be like, I don't know.
All right. So Sublime Lime.
Sublime Cement. I've
Thank
learned.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my pet product.
All right. Cool. Anything else we missed?
I don't know.
I think I'm looking at our list and we nailed it.
Oh my God, we nailed it. We nailed it. That's the first one of the new reboot in the bank.
Is it time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So Phil wants to share something.
So this is so I'm going to geek out a little bit. So I'm going to propose at the end of our podcast that I'm going to share just a little sip of Amaro.
So let me share something with you guys. Phil has, if you go over to his house, he had an Amaro tasting party, and you'd think, oh, we're gonna taste like 10 Amaros. No, I don't know how many you have, and you don't know how many you have.
I have a good 2 years of podcasts worth at least
of just Amaro. So
and growing. And Amaro, so folks know. Chris, you want to take a pass at what an Amaro?
Sure, an Amaro, Phil, is a fortified wine. essentially.
No, it's not.
It is not. That's more like a vermouth.
It's right.
It's a digestif.
It's a digestive. Yeah, it's
It
more
is-
like a bitter liqueur. It's almost like bitters, only a little sweeter. It's one way to think of it.
Sure.
But because it's like bitters, it has a bittering agent, and it's a digestif because of that bittering agent.
And they're often very floral, like Aperol, for example, is an Amaro. Yes.
That's right. It's a kind of
Campari.
Amaro. Yep.
So these are your Amaros that are very, and once you dip your toe into that realm, you realize, oh my gosh, there's so many different.
Right. They get much better. Those are Aperol is a little bit more like a liqueur, but it has some herbal notes to it.
Right.
But sometimes, like a Fernet Branca is
Yeah.
that's a Fernet, but it's a kind of Amaro. It's bitter, and some are bitters, and some are sweeter than others, and it's kind of delicious. So we'll talk more about this probably as we have future podcasts. But for now, I'm going to start with my favorite, Amaro Sibilla, or one of my favorites.
And what's it called?
This is Amaro Sibilla,
Sibilla.
and it is from Umbria in Italy. I actually went to the distillery. It's
Whoa.
true.
Wow.
That's where I got this bottle.
Oh, this is your.
This is why I'm such a geek about this stuff.
This was your recent trip with Macy.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
nice. Great.
Yeah. And it's from Distilleria Varnelli.
Nice. And so I just chugged this. I just slugged this back, right?
You can try, but you won't get far.
So this is for sipping after dinner to digest, and we talk about basements.
That was fun, Chris.
That was a lot of fun.
Welcome back. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. So friends, remember that if you like this podcast, smash that like button. I actually have no idea how that works. I just hear that. I have no idea. No, if you like this podcast, you could subscribe to it in however.
And we have over 50 episodes where you don't see our faces. So
That's right.
You might prefer that.
Right. And remember, we're the Green Architects Lounge. You can like us and subscribe everywhere. And if you didn't like us, we are Ira Glass and This American Life.
That's right.
All right.
Cheers.
Mm. Wow,
you
that's
think?
really good.
Yeah, right?
Ooh, oh my gosh, it still keeps going. It's changing. Ooh, it's like a raisin.
Mhm.
It's like a raisin.
It's kind of raisiny, isn't it?
It's like it's very port-ish, but
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying because it's got a sweetness to it.
it's floral too.
This is honey that comes from the hills of Umbria, gathered by a gentleman by the name of Roberto.
Are you serious?
I've
One
met
guy?
Roberto.
No
I've
way.
seen him cook. Yeah, we saw him after he came back from gathering his gentian.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
Which you make bitters out of.
that's right. Among
Moxie.
other things. That's right. Moxie, baby.
Yeah.
All right.